Thank you for your attention.
Good morning everyone, and we're very much sorry we apologize for the delay. This panel was supposed to start at 10:10. I hope this will not be at the expense of the length of our panel. Okay. So at the outset, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Jeanne Mrad, the Chargée d'Affaires of Lebanon at the Permanent Mission of Lebanon in New York. And today I have the honor to moderate the panel, the second panel of our event for today. And the title of the panel is the Sustainable Development in Mobility and Transport. And as you may have in front of you, before you, the name of my panelists for today, I would like to go quickly to review the name with you before I introduce the purpose and goals of this unique panel. I would consider it as unique because there is no much narrative on this subject issue. And I hope that our panel today will add to the library of this thematic area inputs and parlance and narrative. So I have the permanent representative of Rwanda, Ambassador Gatete Clever, who will be delivering the opening remarks for this panel, as well Mr. Stefano Domenicali, Chief Executive Officer at Formula One, will be given a presentation, a recorded presentation. Professor Joumana Toufaili with us today as well, Mr. Donald Baldeo Singh, Dinesh Joshi, Chairman of Satyagiri Group, Professor Majagiba Chanyak, Professor Suzanne Hunt, and then we will have the closing remarks. Before I give the floor to my panelists, I would like at the outset to introduce the panel. Rapid urbanization and surging demand for freight services is making the transport sector the largest contributor of greenhouse gas emissions. Unlike many other industries that are gradually taking steps to meaningfully reduce their emissions, the transport sector continues to report growth in metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent every year. Thus, it became imperative that a joint commitment is needed. Joint venture is required from all stakeholders, and it's becoming imminent to reverse the current trend and to devise ways to transform infrastructure system into a more sustainable one, with the aim to attain the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our panel today will try to address the following questions. How to define sustainable transport system? What are the key indicators for a sustainable transport system? What are the social aspects of a sustainable transport system? And we will try as well to address the innovative ideas and solutions for sustainable transport system and infrastructure. I would like at the beginning to start with Professor Joumana Toufaili, if I may. Good morning, Professor. I would like to introduce you in 2 words. You are one of the 12 outstanding women scientists for the U.S. State Department's Middle East and North Africa 2012. And today, you provided us with a PowerPoint on best cities in the world in the domains of sustainable environment preservation and sustainable transports. But before we go to the PowerPoint, and I give you the floor to go through the slides of this PowerPoint, I would like to address you 2 questions, if I may. What are the best practices for sustainable transport? And what is the planning for a sustainable transport roadmap in big cities. You have the floor, Professor. Okay, but before, Professor, I'm sorry, it was like inadvertently. I was supposed to give the floor for the opening remarks. Yes, I'm sorry. I was very much enthusiastic to hear from the experts in this field. Okay, so Ambassador Claver, PR of Rwanda in New York. My apologies. You have the floor, sir, for the opening remarks, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, my colleague. Excellencies, dear colleagues, it is a great honor for Rwanda to co-organize the 8th International Day of Women and Girls in Science, along with the Royal Academy of Science International Trust and the permanent missions of Portugal, Lebanon, Chile, Malta, Poland, the Philippines, Slovakia, and Spain. The significance of this International Day is apparent as it connects the international community to women and girls in science and reinforces ties between science and policy in line with the 2030 Agenda and its SDGs. Rwanda is also honored to participate in this particular panel discussion on the sustainability and inclusiveness of transport infrastructure as a key indicator for economic, environmental, and social performance. Transport system and infrastructure remain the pillar of economic development as it supports industrialization, trade, and logistics, access to services, and social welfare. Sustainable transport should be environmentally friendly, climate resilient, and inclusive to all social categories. This remains insightful in construction techniques, operational framework, adaptability to the changing environment, as well as accessibility to vulnerable ones. Yet, it is important to note that sustainable infrastructure development initiatives require support from policies, laws, regulations, and adequate financing. Excellencies, distinguished participants, if I may use examples of sustainable transport in Rwanda, there is an ongoing construction of a new international airport, planned to be branded a green airport, and has passed the law regarding monitoring the implementation of civil aviation environmental protection to comply with ICAO standards. Furthermore, in road construction, Rwanda is at the final stage of developing standards and tools for climate-resilient road infrastructure to mitigate current road infrastructure climate vulnerability aggravated by Rwandan geographical altitude. Rwanda is a mountainous country. On the other hand, to enhance environmentally friendly mobility and comply with targets in Rwanda's nationally determined contribution to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, the government of Rwanda has adopted a strategy for electric mobility, giving fiscal and non-fiscal incentives on the adoption of electric mobility targeting investment, vehicles acquisition, spare parts, charging infrastructure, to mention but a few. Currently, we have up to 3 companies assembling electric motorcycles in Rwanda, 1 company assembling electric vehicles, and 3 others importing electric vehicles. And the government of Rwanda is attracting investments in electric buses. In addition, for active mobility on roads, especially in urban centers, Rwanda has adopted a right-of-way accommodating cyclists and pedestrian walkways and is developing a non-motorized transport master plan in the capital city, Kigali. More so, some zones in Kigali were converted into car-free areas, and twice a month, major road corridors in Kigali are car-free for specific hours to support community sports in the urban centers. Excellencies, dear colleagues, though different countries have started various initiatives to construct roads in a sustainable way and to make mobility environmentally friendly and inclusive, financing is still a major hindrance. To address this, the establishment of green funds helps to offset the required high capital investment, and the global support of such funds is paramount to enable developing countries to achieve their targets. In the case of Rwanda, we have established a green fund and launched it during the COP27. It is a $104 million green investment facility known as Ireme Invest to support financing the implementation of green and resilient projects. The Green Fund attracts partners both in bilateral and multilateral arenas. Excellencies, dear colleagues, we have gathered here today as policymakers, researchers, investors, and financiers. It is high time we share best practices on practical ways to improve the development of climate-resilient transport systems, financially support innovative projects that safeguard the environment and make transport affordable to achieve SDG objectives. My delegation wishes to also highlight the effort required to support women and girls who are often disproportionately affected by the effects of climate change, especially in developing countries. Our proposed solutions today should target women's and girls' empowerment, technically and financially. In conclusion, we all share the belief that achieving UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and meeting SDGs transport indicators, innovative road construction techniques, and financing frameworks are essential, and we therefore urge global synergy in our interventions. I thank you for your kind attention and wish you deliberations on this important International Day. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Unfortunately, I was informed now by the conference room service that the video for our next speaker, Mr. Stefano Domenicali, the Chief Executive Officer of Formula One, will be delayed for a further stage for technical issue. So they are trying to work on it, and hopefully later on we will be streamed again. So I'll go straight to our panelists and welcome each one of you today. I'm so happy to have you on this panel. Each one of you has his own background in this field, and I'm sure that your intervention will bring an added value to this thematic today that we will try to compile at the end with our closing remarks and final report. I will start with you, Professor Joumana. I'm glad to have you coming from Beirut or from the US today? From Beirut.
From Lebanon, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I would like to repeat introducing you, as I did a while ago, one of the 12 outstanding women scientists for the US State Department's Middle East and North Africa 2012. And we will be playing, with the indulgence of the conference room service, the PowerPoint. I hope that it is working and there is no technical issue about it. A PowerPoint prepared and compiled by you about the best cities in